Hey everyone, welcome back to another SAT math video. This is from the official 2024 Practice Bundle 6 Math Module 1. Right triangle ABC is shown. What is the value of tan A? Okay, so they don't really give us a lot in the actual question description, but they give us some information in this diagram here. We know 54 is the length of this AB, and given this a right triangle, we know that this is the hypotenuse, and this is 90 degrees. So let's see if we can figure out some more information. Well, I know that if this is 30 degrees and this is 90 degrees, that means we are at like 120 degrees total. And the total amount of degrees you can have in a triangle is 180 degrees. So if this two is 30 and 90, this one has to be 60 degrees, right? Because remember, you can only have up to 180 degrees in a triangle. So I just did a little bit of quick math, right? So I just did 180 minus 30 plus 90 real quick in my head, and then that gave us 60, right, which was this final angle over here. So now we know that this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And if you remember, earlier on in the math module, right at the beginning, they give us this handy little reference sheet, and notice 30, 60, 90 is a special right triangle, right? So what is so special about the right triangles? Well, the lengths will all be some proportion of this base length x, right? So we need to identify where does x fall, right? Well, x is always going to be across from 30 degrees. So we know, okay, this is going to be our side that is x. And if that's our side that is x, then we know this side is going to be x root 3. And then this side is going to be 2x, which is equal to 54, right? So now we can figure out the lengths of this triangle. And once we know the lengths, we can figure out what tan A is. Okay, so now we just need to solve for x, right? 2x is equal to 54. X is equal to 54 divided by 2. What, right? All I did here was divide by 2 on both sides. And then you just cross out. But you get the idea. I've done that like a bazillion times now. So x is going to be 54 by 2, which is going to be something, let's see, 2 goes into 5 2 times 27. Yeah, looks about right. You can use your calculator, of course. I'm like pretty sure in math module 1 your calculator is permitted, right? So now we know this side is actually going to be 27, and this side is actually going to be 27 root 3. Okay, that's pretty easy. Now what do we got to do? We need to figure out what tan A is, right? Here's our angle A. What is the tangent of that? So you might have heard like this nice funny phrase in your like geometry class, or maybe trigonometry, I don't even remember. But it was called SOHCAHTOA, right? And this is just basically for figuring out the ratios of side lengths to angles in a right triangle, right? Where SO stands for sine is opposite over hypotenuse, that is the ratio. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? So with that being said, now we just need to figure out what the tangent is, right? Because they're asking for tan A. So to find tan A, we need to basically figure out which side is the opposite and which side is the adjacent, and then create the proportion, right? So opposite of A, well, what side is opposite of A? And that's going to be directly across, which would be this side right here, CB, which we know to be 27 over root 3. So it's going to be opposite 27 times root 3 over some adjacent, right? Which is going to be 27, right? Because our adjacent side is the one that touches A that is not the hypotenuse, right? It's not the hypotenuse, otherwise it would be H, right? So we know that opposite over adjacent for tan of A is 27 root 3 over 27, which can simplify into simply root 3. So is that one of our answer choices? Yes, it is right here. So there you have it. This is all you got to do for this question. First, you have to recognize that this was a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And then after we do that, we had to basically understand that it was a special right triangle, meaning we then could figure out from this value 54, we could derive the other legs lengths, right, from 27 and 27 root 3 just by basically figuring out or following the special right triangle here. And then once we figured that out, we had to just basically remember SOHCAHTOA, right? Basically how we relate the proportions of the sides to angles in a right triangle. And then we mainly had to remember this part, tan, right, TOA, and then use that to basically figure out what tan A is. So pretty straightforward. All you have to really do is just use your reference sheet right here and remember SOHCAHTOA. So hopefully this video made sense. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make these videos more clear for you all, or you know, maybe simpler. Sometimes I have a tendency to over explain, so feel free in the comments to check me and make sure that I'm doing a good job. Always check out Khan Academy. They have a lot of great resources on SAT and ACT and a plethora of other subjects if you are inclined to self-study. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.